Well, it's not only painful, but we all know by now that sunburns are a danger to our health. So joining us now is Dr. Julia Carroll, one of Toronto's top cosmetic dermatologists, who is here to debunk some of the myths surrounding the sun and skincare. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
We should start with your sister-in-law's myth.
My
maybe.
sister-in-law thinks that it's actually the sunscreen that gives you cancer.
Well, I always tell my patients that I know lots of people that have died from skin cancer, but I have yet to meet one who's died from using sunscreen.
I like that. I like that. I like that.
Okay, so that's number one myth we've just debunked,
Okay.
right? So everyone has misconceptions, I think, when it comes to skin health during the summer. So can a sunburn anywhere on your body potentially cause cancer somewhere else on your body?
If you get the where you get the skin cancer is where the sun hits your skin.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for sure. However, there's two other parts to that answer, which is one is that if you get a type of skin cancer called melanoma, and there's also a type called squamous cell cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Those can metastasize, which means they can go to other parts of your body, like your lung or your brains. Or your brain, you only have one brain.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Different parts some days.
Well, it depends on who you are, maybe. I don't know. Let's not get into that. So it can metastasize to different parts of your body. And so in that way, I would say the answer is yes. Skin cancer can cause it in other parts, but it's not like if you get sun on your shoulders and you burn them that you'll get a skin cancer from that, say, on your bum.
Right.
Yeah. But on the other hand, you can get skin cancers in places where the sun doesn't shine because sun is not the only cause of skin cancer.
But there is no such thing as a safe tan.
Exactly. So I say to people, if I gave you a cream and when you put it on, your skin turned red and then it turned brown, would you not think that was weird?
Yes.
Right. So why do we think that's cool if the sun does that to us?
But you hear, I have one daughter who is very, very pale and stays out of the sun, does all the right things. The other one bakes, loves it. And I made her sign a waiver.
You do
not come back to me when you are 40 and say, well, she's 22 now. Why did you not keep me out of the sun? I've shown you pictures. I've done everything like this. But now she's starting to wear more protection, but she likes to get that base tan. I said use a spray tan.
Exactly. That's a great way to get that little bit of color. We all feel and look a little bit better. So I think that's part of society trying to change that and trying to love the skin you're in and appreciate paleness or whatever color you came out with. But that whole tan thing, do you know where that comes from? Where we all wanted to become tan.
No, I don't know where
Coco Chanel came back from a vacation. It used to be very gauche to be tanned. It was considered what the farmers labor. Coco Chanel came back from the south of France with a beautiful glowing tan, and then it became very in vogue.
So it's all her fault.
It's all Coco's fault.
So let me ask you something. I'm from a generation where, well, maybe not a generation, but I tanned a lot. All my friends tanned. We all wanted to be as brown as we could possibly be, right?
Baby oil reflector boards.
That record up.
And it was like, okay, let's put baby oil on. Let's let's get the best. So I don't have melanoma as of right now, and I haven't been tanning for a number of years.
Right.
What are the chances to have that delayed?
It's a cumulative, right?
Yeah, so there's two things. The melanoma tends to be like one bad hit. So, and did you ever smoke cigarettes when you were younger?
Yeah.
And you don't have lung cancer, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that I couldn't.
Right, but it doesn't mean the same thing. It doesn't mean that you won't get melanoma. But the chronic sun exposure does more things like the other non-melanoma types of skin cancer, like basal cells and squamous cell cancers. And it causes skin damage, so flaky parts on your skin that bleed easily, and wrinkles, and bigger pores, and pigmentation. That's what that chronic long-term damage does.
But does it, can I be safe to assume that I'm likely not going to get melanoma because I haven't been in the sun for a number of years and I haven't got it yet?
You're probably relatively safe on that part, but I would imagine that you'll probably get some of that more chronic signs of sun exposure.
Oh, I have lots of wrinkles. Lots of them.
I don't see any from here.
Let's talk about
nice?
Yes, she is. Let's talk about technique. The best way to apply sunscreen, because I understand people don't use enough and they don't use it often enough.
Exactly. So when you look at the number on the bottle that says, say, SPF 30 or SPF 50, that's the lab number. It doesn't really reflect what we do in the real world.
Okay.
We tend to not put on enough. So I always say, first of all, cheat a little bit and get a little bit higher number than you would necessarily, want to. If you feel like in your brain you like a 30, actually pick up that 50 because you're probably only going to get a 25 or even a 15 out of that.
Okay.
And one of my favorite things to tell my patients is to put on your sunscreen in the morning when you're naked. When you get out of the shower, maybe you've done your hair and you haven't put your clothes on yet, and that way you're more comfortable putting it on all the little spots, the nooks and the crannies.
Don't miss the clothing lines,
Exactly.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. And you'll get a nice coat on, let it dry, put your clothes on. I mean, obviously, if you're going to wear a full piece suit, you're not going to put it on your trunk. But you can at least get your nice parts of your chest, your arms, your face.
Now, I just want to say, I see in my notes here, it says brushes and powders are great for touch-ups and reapplications. There's sunscreen powders?
There are. So
I did not know this.
Yeah. So I can bring lots of toys in at some point and we can show you all the different sunscreens. But I like a cream sunscreen as the base. That's sort of my go-to. But if you're out, say you're on a patio and you've got a full face of makeup on and you don't want to then put sunscreen on and reapply, there are brands that make usually zinc and titanium base, so mineral-based powders, and you just brush it on, and often they're tinted, and that will give you a touch-up over the day.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So for people often like me who I basically go from my condo to a car into a building.
Right.
So I'm unlikely to apply it all the time. If I know that I'm going to be sitting out on a patio, obviously that's another thing. But I might walk outside for 5 minutes.
Right.
Do I need to put a 50 sunscreen on?
So I would put it on in the morning. Or at least a 30, because you're still in that car, and the ultraviolet A, which are the rays that go deeper and are more damaging to the skin, they come in through the windows. And we're sitting here in your studio, and it's a little bit further away, but I still see some light from
I
the
did
sun
not know
coming in.
that it went through the glass.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
In California, they all get their
Windows
They
tinted.
get tinted, put on their windows.
We did that in Australia, too. I grew up
yes.
in Australia. You'd see that everywhere.
So is there anything in sunscreen that is damaging to your skin or to you, ingredients that soak in?
Not in my opinion across the board, but what I would say is I have particular cases where people will be allergic to ingredients, and in that case, and it could be the sunscreen ingredient, or it could be something that's in the base of the ingredient. It could be a perfume, it could be the cream base. In that case, obviously, I'm not, we want to look for options. But the sunscreens that we have available in Canada have been really well tested. And again, I don't know anyone that's ever died from using sunscreen.
So, and sunscreens expire, right? Because they
They
do
do.
have some medicinal ingredients. So you really should throw them out at the end of the season. But you should have used them all up.
Right. If you go on a beach vacation and you come back with sunscreen, for a family of 4, you should go through a bottle in a day.
Right. Because it's about 3 tablespoons for the...
You say a shot glass, yeah.
A shot glass.
Yeah.
I like your
or
style.
a golf ball. It depends.
I like your style. I wear hats, and
Great.
I'm always amazed that people here. I grew up in Australia. Hats were fashionable.
Slip,
you didn't
slap,
just wear them.
slop.
Slip, slap, slop. Exactly. Yes, slip on a hat. Slop on some. I'm going to slap on a hat.
Slip
I can't
on
remember. You slip on clothing,
Yeah.
but that's protecting yourself and staying out in the heat of the
Like
day.
sunscreen is your third level of defense, really. So avoid, put on sun protective clothing, and then your sunscreen.
And what about? I've heard about oral sunscreen too. Something you can take HelioCare.
Oh, Heliotrope or HelioCare. Sorry.
Yeah.
So HelioCare is, there's a lot of products that are out there that have been confusing that say, take this, it extends your tan, take this, it protects you. A lot of them I find a little bit scary, a bit misleading. But HelioCare is a product that's an antioxidant supplement. So you can take it and it gives you some protection. It's not sunscreen, but if any of that sun, and some of it will get through the sunscreen or you miss a spot, then it's going to give you some protection. So I take one every morning and twice a day when I'm on vacation.
Really? That's I
Where do you
never
get
heard
that?
It's hard to get. You can get it on Amazon. Sometimes they're expired. I actually brought
Christine
it in.
just discovered Amazon Prime.
Oh, no, dangerous. Yeah.
My new addiction.
Right. I brought some into my office for my patients, but you can get it in the U.S. at Walgreens if you travel.
Okay.
HelioCare.
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 Helio, like the sun.
Okay.
And so you bought some on Amazon and it had expired?
Sometimes I've seen them on Amazon that are expired, so I import it now just to have it
Just to make sure.
Yeah.
So if people want to connect with you, find out more information about this, where can they go?
Probably the easiest place is Julia Carroll, drjuliacarroll.ca, 2 R's, 2 L's, and at Dr. Julia Carroll on Instagram. We do lots of fun Instagram as well.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you very much for coming in, and I will be playing this segment for my sister-in-law.
Okay.
Good job.
She said